Hey guys, it's me, I'm back. I'm making another countdown for you guys. We're counting down the top 5 Tier 7 light tanks. I didn't choose Tier 5 simply because most Tier 5 light tanks right now don't seem properly balanced. And I didn't choose Tier 8 because there's simply just not enough Tier 8s to do a countdown on. So I got the proper tier would be 7. I might do a different light tank countdown of sorts later, but for now it's going to be my only light tank countdown. I don't have many up that much, but let's get started. The number 5 at the bottom of the barrel is the Awful Panther, is what it's known as. I can't pronounce this name, so I'm just calling it the Awful Panther. And it is pretty awful. I mean, the armor is pretty good, but other than that, its armor is not gonna bounce anything. Even if you angle this thing's armor, you're not bouncing very much other than other light tanks' ammo. I mean, don't rely on this thing's armor, even though if it does have great armor for a light tank. Um, the guns it gets are pretty crap. You get the Waffle Cannon, which is a great Tier 5 gun, and an okay Tier 6 gun. But at Tier 7, it's not that good. Its alpha is for a Tier 7 light tank. Its gun isn't that good. Its damage is on the low end. Its penetration is okay. And the rate of fire is good, but that low damage just cripples its DPM. And the accuracy and the aim time are pretty good, but it doesn't really matter. It's just not enough. It's just not that good of a gun. But you do get a 105mm option, which is terrible as well. You also have a 5cm, which is god-awful at this tier. And the 105, which is decent, great alpha, but the penetration's poor. Even with high explosive anti-tank, it's just not enough to do anything in any tier of gameplay. So the 105 is out. It's got poor camo. It's big. It's not that. It's fast, I guess. I mean, this is a pretty good ramming tank, but it's just it doesn't make up for it. And you're only gonna be able to ram artillery in the first place. Um, it's just, I mean, it's just not a good vehicle. It's pretty crap. I think it's one of the worst light tanks in the game. I mean, it's just so bad. It's just the worst light tank in the freaking game. One of them. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it with that vehicle. Number 4, we have the Type 62, the only premium Tier 7 light tank. Unfortunately, it's not that good as a premium light tank. It's not that good. It's still better than the Alpha Panther. I mean, a non-premium is better. The armor is garbage. Expected. It's not that fast. I mean, most other light tanks are faster in some way. Its view range is the signal range is pretty poor, but the view range is good. The gun depression isn't that good, so you can't hold down. Well, there's no reason to hold down in the first place anyway. Um, the gun does okay alpha, has substandard penetration, but the high explosive anti-tank has great penetration. Though it's high explosive anti-tank, the worst type of ammunition in the game. But, you know, I guess it's a downgrade. I guess it's, you know, balanced. If that penetration was the APC ammunition would be broken. The accuracy is okay, and many times okay. This vehicle isn't bad, but it's not good, considering since all other Tier 7 light tanks are great or amazing. Next up, we have the WZ-131. This is a pretty interesting vehicle. It's got 3 choices of guns: 76mm autoloader, which is basically the AMX 1375's gun, but nerfed because it's not its top gun. And then you got an 85mm option. I'm not talking about those 85s because they're useless. The top 85 is pretty good. Good alpha, good penetration. with high explosive tank. And the rate of fire is okay, the hitting time's okay, and the accuracy is okay. So it's an okay gun. The 100mm gun has good alpha, good penetration, but a very slow rate of fire, and the accuracy could be better, and the aiming time's pretty god awful. It's got slightly worse view range, but the turret fixes it. It's got slightly worse view range than the Type 62, but it gets the same radio, but it doesn't get a radio upgrade. So this is just an upgrade. The only thing that the Type 62 has is a credit bonus and the ability to train other Chinese light tanks, which is pretty much no reason to have that because the only light tanks you're gonna be able to you're gonna be owning is the M5 Stuart, the WZ-131, maybe the WZ-132, but but I don't count those as extra stats simply because I mean I just don't like to count them in this type of countdown. Next up we have the AMX 1375. This is a very good vehicle. It gets the 75mm gun is poor alpha, but its clip is pretty good because of how ridiculous it pumps out those shots. The Chaffee's gun I think is better, but only by slightly. But that's simply because, you know, the Chaffee. I just have unfair bias towards it. It's so you just like it because it was my first proper light tank. The armor's garbage, obviously. It's pretty light. I think it's the lightest of the tiers I don't like things, but it's got the weakest engine. And it's got an oscillating turret, so its gun depression and elevation are both shit, which kind of sucks. But you're gonna have to deal with it, I guess. And the view range is okay. It doesn't get a turret upgrade though, so that's nice. You got that maximum view range, and you can mount that top gun you should have from tier 6, so the grind isn't that bad. Um, but it doesn't seem that unique for a tier 7 light tank. Finally, our number one choice is the tier 7 light tank, the T-71. Um, why I choose this for number one is basically just a ammo 1375. The gun, that gun. Oh, first, if you've seen my tier 9 medium tank, tier top tier not medium tanks or countdown, you know that standard APCR ammunition is the best type of ammunition in the game. This is one of the only vehicles. I think this is. I'm 99% sure this is the only vehicle in the game, other than the tier 10 medium, that can equip standard APCR ammunition. So it is an advantage. The damage is not that good. The penetration is great. So this is a standard APCR ammunition. You got that buff. The rate of fire is pretty good. And accuracy isn't that good. The aiming time's okay. But that standard APC ammunition pumps it up to a great gun. And it's pretty fast. It's got it's got slightly higher than 20 horsepower per ton ratio. And the speed limit's really good. This thing drives fast. And its traverse speed on that hole is amazing. Its view range is amazing. Its signal range is really good with the upgraded, radio. Um, The only downside I could come up with is, it's, other than that accuracy, the, is that, it doesn't get any proper, it just doesn't have any proper ammunition for premium, because it has to deal with high explosive anti-tank, which you know I hate that stuff. And it is pretty big, but the, Type 62 and the WZ-131 are bigger, so I guess it just feels like the best tank in it just feels like the best tier 7 light tank. And it can mount a vertical stabilizer, which I forgot to talk about with other vehicles, but it just feels like the best vehicle for vertical stabilizer. Um, I am like 99, I'm pretty sure the Awful Panzer could mount a vertical stabilizer, but that thing is god awful and doesn't really have a use for it. The French can't mount a vertical stabilizer, so that's just a huge advantage for a vehicle that works like that. Um, the Type 62 can mount vertical stabilizer, and but yet again, that vehicle doesn't really feel like it. the must-have for that vehicle. Same thing with the WZ-131, unless you're using the 85 or the 76 millimeter gun. But I think it's HE options. The T-71 gets HE ammunition as well, which is pretty much the exact same 36 default, but it gets that better rate of fire. So that's nice. You can just use that HE shells and piss off heavy tanks because you just empty the entire clip and you did basically like 200 damage or 150 damage, and since the HE shells, there's basically nothing they can do to fix that because they can't angle their armor against HE shells. So it's just like grrr. They get pissed off when stuff like that happens when they just load HE and they just penetrate regardless because they're high explosive shells. But yeah, so all in all, if you're gonna choose a Teir 7 light tank, go with either the T-71, the WZ-131, or the AMX 1375. The Awful Panther's not worth it. The Type 62's not worth it, especially since it's a premium vehicle that you can't get anymore. I mean, so it's just both Type 62 is just a downgrade from the WZ-131. The Awful Panther's just pointless. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll check you later, guys. Bye.